you off. Well, this looks like Sharp Tor. Haven't got a lot to work on. I wish I could remember the day that I first set eyes on Dartmoor. I'm sure it was love at first sight. We moved to Devon when I was 7 years old. Well, it started already. Tour number 2. Which, yes, makes me a grockle. A Devon word for people who aren't from here and will never really belong, no matter how hard we try. That's me. When I was 14, I started doing 10 tours and joined the Dartmoor Plodders. 10 Tours is a Dartmoor walking event for teenagers. You train to walk 35, 45 or 55 miles over one weekend, carrying all your kit and camping wild. A tour is a granite outcrop, usually on top of a hill. The Dartmoor Plodders were a wonderful bunch of misfits, with a love of enormous flags and a motto: no retreat, no surrender. But I just gotta keep going, right? Can't say I did all the tours except one because it was a bit difficult to get to. I ended up coming back year after year to do all the 10 Tours events I could, and several others besides. One year, in 2011, my team of 6 went for the 10 Tours record. People always like to emphasise that 10 Tours is not a race. It's about finishing as a team, getting around the route and surviving the weekend. It's not a race, but you can finish first. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the worst route I have ever taken to Shilstone. Since I was 14 years old and an hour late for ITV interview because I followed a bearing to somewhere over there. I did the 55-mile 10 Tours event, but it never quite seemed big enough. And when you've walked 10 tours, you can't help but wonder if you can walk all of them. We're halfway there. It is a fairly Devonian trait to have a poor sense of world geography. I ended up at a university that took 7 hours to get to by train. By coincidence, it also meant I was within driving distance of most of the UK's mountains. Highest tour on Dartmoor. And look at this stunning view! You can almost imagine you're in the Lake District. I met lots of people who like mountains. They used to laugh at Dartmoor and call it flat to wind me up. Dartmoor might not have the Munros and ridges of Scotland, but I discovered that I cared more about walking a really, really long way than reaching a summit. It's a bit windy this morning. Soon I did my mountain leader course and began leading groups. My walks didn't always go to plan, and about the time I noticed, I turned around and the cow was charging at me from behind. So I ran, and I may have screamed. But by the end of my 4 years up north, I was confident and competent. Welcome back to some lovely Dartmoor weather. I'm up on Sittaford Tor, hiding behind the wall, because it's pretty windy up here. The rivers are quite high at the moment. It is one fast-flowing river. So I'm just making a navigational decision about whether I'm going to Sandy Hole Pass or try to cross a waterfall. Either way, it's probably going to be very wet. My parents used to send me cards with pictures of Dartmoor whilst I was away. I didn't get to come home often. I've walked almost all the way up the river that I can go. I'm in Broad Marsh at the moment, around the edge of it. And I just can't cross it, it's too fast. And we're back at Post Bridge. But as soon as I graduated, I packed up my belongings and headed home to the moors. I stepped back into the Dartmoor Plodders, this time as a leader, and applied to join Dartmoor Rescue. I was meant to be applying to graduate schemes, but the form was a lot easier to fill out. I'm procrastinating because I don't want to get out of the tent because everything's wet. Except me at the moment, I'm just kind of damp. Dartmoor Rescue took me on, and after an overnight nav test in some of the worst weather Dartmoor could offer, I was on the team. Turns out I'm pretty good at navigation. What the hell am I supposed to pace off? Found the boundary stone. A few years later, it was Dartmoor Rescue's 50th anniversary, and my 25th year on the planet. That's when that innocuous little question crept back into my mind. I wonder if I could do all of them. Because the weather's better than it's forecast to be now. As in, it's not lashing it down with rain or really rubbish visibility or really, really, really windy. I'm going to try and push on because this is where I was meant to get to tonight. So I bought a map, put a circle around all the tours and started to join the dots. I was left with 119 tours and 300 kilometres over 10 days, the All the Tours challenge. Slap bang in the middle of Dartmoor. I would be completely self-sufficient, carry all my food, camp on the moor and do it solo. It rained quite a lot last night. I've got an extreme puddle in the tent. People told me I wouldn't be able to carry all my food for 10 days. They told me it was dangerous to be a solo female. And one old lady instructed me to take a long knife against intruders in the night. Good morning! Guess what? It's windy and rainy again. But most of them didn't know me, and they didn't know about me in Dartmoor. So I set off. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused now. I just got here and this is where I was meant to be camping tonight. I'm gonna do something kind of unusual for me today. There's a hurricane, the remnants of a hurricane coming through tonight. Look how wrinkly they are. Got a bit of a dilemma. The big question is, how do I get out of here now? So this is it, tour number 100. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. This stunning view. You know, this might be only tour 117. I kind of feel like I've finished already. There is one part of the story that I haven't told. It's the story of this man, Stuart Brown. He was our 10 Tours team manager, leader of the plodders, the one who taught us how to push through discomfort and keep going when our body had given up. He died of cancer in 2014 while I was still at university. I didn't even know he was in hospital. Okay, I'm on bench tour. It's raining too hard to let you out of the bag. I'm at bench tour. I have to get to Shipley Tor, which is kind of the other side of Dartmoor, near Shipley Bridge, funnily enough. And I've never walked that way before. It's really not obvious, and of course it's foggy, so I can't see more than maybe 30 metres, 50 metres maximum. I don't know which way to go. I'm really tired, so I'm already making stupid navigational decisions this morning. And I just want to get on a path and put my head down and walk. But I can't. I have to navigate in the fog. And I don't know which is the best way to go, really. But I'm sure I'll work it out, given time. No matter how bad it gets, the world just keeps turning. The show must go on. No retreat, no surrender. It turns out I wasn't just walking across Dartmoor. I was walking through layers upon layers of memories and people. And I may be a grockle, but if all those memories don't add up to make belonging, then I don't know what does. Woo! All the tours! All the flippin' tours. So when anyone asks me, are you that girl who did that walk? I say yes. Yes, I am.